Whether you're picking and grinning or just grinning, grab a drink, pull up a seat. It's time for Roots Music Rambler. Turn it up. So I've been to the Gorge, as you know, out in the Washington States. And I have been to the Ryman and a couple of other really cool music venues. But I just found out 2 days ago that my favorite artist, Joy Loudacune, on December 2nd, will be making her Grand Ole Opry debut. And I have never been to the Grand Ole Opry, which is no longer in the Ryman. It's in the big Grand Ole Opry, complex now, which is like a 4,000 seat, arena theater. But I'm going to get to go to the Grand Ole Opry December 2nd to see Joy Loudacune make her Opry debut.
Nice.
And so I'm knocking off another venue that I've never been to. And I was thinking about it. What other cool venues have I not been to that I would like to see a show in? And so I've never been to Red Rocks. I was scheduled to go to Red Rocks with Karen 2 years ago to see Ryan Adams, but that got canceled because, Ryan cancels shit from time to time. And he's apparently melting down again.
Yep.
But I mean, yes, every 3 or 4 years he does. That's kind of his cycle. So hopefully he'll be okay. Anyway, I've never seen anything at the like the Hollywood Bowl, which is, legendary, but I've never been there. And I'm trying to think of some other great music venues that I've not been to. And so that also made me curious, what music venues have you not been to that you would like to go to?
All of them. I mean, yeah, like I've been in the Ryman Auditorium, but I've not seen a show there. So that is definitely on the list. And, Jason Isbell has his Ryman run every year, but it never works out for me. It's, I've got school. I'm a teacher. I can't just go in the middle of the week down to Nashville. And not only that, it's so expensive. I just can't manage that right now. So I never saw a show at the Ryman. I too have not been to Red Rocks. I've not been to the Gorge. What other, how about the Sphere in Las Vegas? It seems like everybody's playing there now.
Yeah.
But I don't feel as drawn to the Sphere as I do like Red Rocks or the Gorge mainly because it's in Las Vegas and I am totally over Las Vegas. I don't ever need to go back there. So, but I know it's a draw for a lot of people,
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, what else? I can't even think of any others right now that would really fall into that same
I mean,
class.
And I was thinking about it, so Karen has made a big deal of, and this is her thing, right? She's made a big deal of going to see the old music venues in Manchester, England.
Right.
Which obviously, if you're going to travel internationally, that opens up a whole lot of other, I'd love to see a show at the Sydney Opera House. That'd be really cool.
Oh, right. For sure.
There's plenty like that. But I've seen a show not a concert, but I've seen a musical, or I think I saw maybe the Nutcracker or something like that at Radio City Music Hall. So I've seen something there. It was years ago. I've been to Madison Square Garden for several things in New York because I lived there for a couple of years.
Right.
I actually saw an opera. I've only seen one opera in my life, but it was at the Philadelphia Metropolitan Opera House, which is this old, exactly what you think it looks like opera house in Philadelphia. So the only other venues I can think of are wherever Bonnaroo is held, but that doesn't necessarily impress me as a facility. It's just a big freaking field that they put a festival in.
Right.
I have no interest whatsoever in ever going to Burning Man. Fuck that.
Right.
But yeah, there's some interesting theaters and music venues, stadiums and whatnot around the country that are known for being great music venues.
Oh, I just thought of another one, but go ahead.
Go for it. No, you go for it.
And I know of it because of Jay Farrar and Sunvolt, Blueberry Hill in St. Louis.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So, I know Jay has played there a bunch,
Hmm.
Bottle Rockets, that whole scene. So, that's another one that I would love to make it to one day. And
Sure.
to see Sunvolt would be like the best.
Yeah. Well, and there's other places too. Like I could probably spend a week in Nashville going to places I'd love to see music in, like the Bluebird Cafe and the
Yeah.
Station Inn and some of these kind of legendary places that I just haven't happened to go to yet. But I also have to temper that with the fact that if I'm not able to sit in a comfortable seat, I don't wanna go, you know? I don't wanna
Fair.
be jammed into these, like, old theater seats that are, wide enough for a 5th grader, which my leg can fit in maybe, and then I gotta kinda sit on the edge, and I look like this, rotund Goodyear blimp kinda guy sitting there blocking the aisle because I don't fit in the damn seat. And I know that's my fault for being a fat ass, so shut up for those of you who are thinking about it. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's so many cool venues out there that I haven't seen that I'm like, okay, maybe I need to make a destination list.
Yeah. And just because of like finances and whatever, I've really turned to seeing so many shows in smaller venues.
Mhm.
But it's also the artists that I like or play those venues.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of character in a lot
Mhm.
of these venues. And I think that really enhances the whole live music experience as well. So not necessarily like these huge names, iconic places like Red Rocks or something,
Right.
but there are plenty of those other ones too.
Yeah. Well, the Gorge and Red Rocks, I think, just because of the beauty of the area, the
Sure.
the outdoor with nature kind of thing, is those are two just major destination venues that you just got to knock off at some point. So
Oh,
hopefully, I'll get
another
to see
one,
Red Rocks at some point. What is it?
the Caverns, and I know you've been there, but
Yes.
I have not, and it seems that the type of music we like, that's, like, a lot of those kinds of bands and acts and artists play there. So, and of course, it's in Tennessee, so, like, that's an easy trip, right?
Yeah.
So if the timing was right and all that, I would certainly make a trip down
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
Caverns.
And I think every city has, like in Louisville, we have the Palace, which is kind of our historical older, theater that, probably seats, I don't know, 2,500 people or less, but it's big and nice on the inside. Every town has one of those. They're either called the Paramount or, the Pacific or whatever. There's all these, and I've been to a few of those. I've been to the Victory Theater in Evansville Indiana is pretty cool.
Okay.
Um, I've been to the one in, have I been to the one in Owensboro? I think I've been to the one in Owensboro, but there's one of those, like there's the Taft Theater, I think in Cincinnati, that are really cool. So I'd like to hit those in some other towns too, but I would really be interested for those of you out there listening or watching, if you've got a cool venue in your town or your area, drop us a note, ramblers at rootsmusicrambler.com and let us know what it is. Cause we might make a little list of kind of cool music venues that we want to go to. So we could
Absolutely.
appreciate your help. There you go.
Cool.
Welcome to Roots Music Rambler. She's Frank,
And he's Falls.
and we're rambling on through the stories behind the music we love.
Yes, and today on the show, we are going to visit with one of the more unique voices in all of country music, and that is Melissa Carper. She made a big splash last year with her album Born to Inya, all right, which I know Falls loves. And she's also in the supergroup Wonder Women of Country with Kelly Willis and Brennan Lee. But it is her sound that is unique and what makes her stand out from the crowd.
Yes, and as most of you know, we love that retro sound in country music. We've had the artists like Kimmi Bitter and Logan Ledger and the like on the show. Ramona and the Holy Smokes have that old school pure country sound. Well, Melissa Carper may very well have introduced that callback sound kind of movement from her first album in 2015, which was called Arkansas Bound, through three more solo LPs and one collaboration record with Rebecca Paddock. Carper's sound is pretty consistent. It's simple, country western, almost a western saloon sound, but there's some interesting soul, gospel, and even kind of ragtime feel to some of her songs.
Yes, and definitely I will, double down on that ragtime sound. That's, like, my thought too, like the first time I listened to her. So, she also plays the double bass, right? So bands with a big stand-up bass typically have that traditional music sound, and then her voice. Her voice is very interesting as well.
Certainly, yeah. Her singing voice is very authentic, but it has this tone that it kind of reminds me of like 1940s campy gangster and detective films. Hey, mister, don't be a wise guy. Why I oughta like just the way she sings, and I guess the way it's produced and to sit on top of the music, it just has this really unique effect. If you haven't heard it, you will as we go to and come from break during the show. It's just a really cool sound. And the first time I heard her, I was like, wow, who is that? I really need to listen to more of her. And I have, and I just love her stuff.
Excellent. So we're going to dive into her background, where her musical influences came in, dig into her travels and experiences, which are as varied and interesting as she is.
That's right. I'm pumped to have her on the show. Born Dinya was one of my top 10 albums of 2024. The song itself was awesome too, and it's still a favorite to this day.
Yes. Well, then shall we play it as we go out to break?
Yeah, good idea. We'll be back after a few words from the wonderful sponsors that help keep the lights on here. We'll listen to Born Dinya going to break, something else coming back, and then we'll talk to the woman herself, Melissa Carper, coming up on Roots Music Rambler.
You can talk like that. This is born in you. You can sing like that. This is born in you. You can play that way. This soul is born into your bones. Born into your blood, into your bones. Freeway, rolling down the hills and plains. No, you can't keep me in a hole, 'cause Lord, I'm a rambling soul.
Welcome back to Roots Music Rambler. That song's called Ramblin' Soul off Melissa Carper's 2022 album from the same name. We heard Born Dinya before the break, and the brilliant singer-songwriter behind both is here with us. Melissa Carper, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, thank you, Jason. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
We're doing fantastic because you're here. We're very excited to talk to you. And I gotta gush a little bit. I'm a fanboy, and so I'm gonna fanboy for a second. Born Dinya was one of my top 5 or 10 albums of 2024. I love the song. I love the record. Now that it's been out there a bit, looking back on it, how did you were you happy with the album and how it all turned out encompassing everything that happened after it was released, taking to the account the fan reaction and maybe critical reaction or perhaps lack thereof? I have an opinion, but I want to
Ah,
know what you think about Born Dinya.
oh, okay. Well, I mean, it was my favorite album, at that point in time when it released last year. I felt like it was kind of in a way, like for me, a combination of what I was doing in Daddy's Country Gold and Ramblin' Soul, and yet like achieving something more beautiful, for me. But I call it my crooning album because I felt like I vocally, like I was able to do some stuff that I hadn't done before, um, or just, I felt comfortable doing it maybe at that point. And, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure, it actually didn't get as much reaction out of, audiences and radio as Daddy's Country Gold or Ramblin' Soul. Not sure why, you never know why, but I believe in that album. I'm glad you like it.
I love it. My only addition to what you said, and I'll say this to the radio and the media and the critic people out there. I think it's one of the most underrated and unfortunately not praised enough records of the last couple years. I just love it. And
Wow.
I kept sitting here waiting for it to blow up and it never did. And I think people missed it. I
Oh,
don't know why, but I think people missed it because I think it's fantastic. So
thank you.
in fact,
Thank you
I'm
for
going to be a
saying that.
dork.
I was a
I'm an
little
even
disappointed myself, so thank you for saying that.
Aw.
I'm an even bigger dork. It's right there. I've got it on the front of one of my cabinet shelves. So there it is. So
Well,
anyway,
that
Wait,
means a lot.
Jason, that restraining order thing again.
yeah, I got to calm down.
All right,
Sorry.
all right.
I get excited.
Well,
I know you do. I know. Okay, so I know one of the reasons Jason loves that record so much, because he's told me at least a dozen times, is because how much he loves your sound. So in the open for this show, we tried to describe it, but we're curious, how do you describe your music? Because your sound really is unique, at least from our perspective.
well, that's hard. That's a pretty general question, but I mean, obviously, I I've listened. I think my sound is just a result of me listening to a lot of old music, a lot of old country, and jazz and blues, and then just sort of eventually, like in my songwriting, combining those elements. Um, and then also my sound is largely due to the great musicians that are on my albums and the great producers and the great studio and engineer Andrea Tokic and also Dennis Crouch has been producing. Both Andrea and Dennis have been producing. I've had Andrea playing bass, Chris Gruggs on guitar and steel, Billy Contreras on fiddle, Jeff Taylor on piano. I've had so many amazing Nashville musicians. So I basically take them this little, you know, this the core of a song in a little demo, and then they create that amazing sound. And so that's just as big part of anything is those people involved in the project.
Well, I'm glad you called all them out because they are oftentimes the unsung heroes in great music. I love your sound because it's got this like old school traditional country and western sound, but I also hear some blues. I hear some gospel in there from time to time, and even ragtime arrangements are in there sometimes. But at the same time, even though it sounds old school and more older genre, it's very a new kind of authentic approach to it as well. And I think it's really hard for artists to produce that. Yet you've sounded that way really largely from the beginning of, at least from the recordings that I've heard back from 2015 and whatnot. Did you go through a period of finding your sound, or did it just come out that way when you first started playing music?
Oh, yeah. I'm curious which recordings you've listened to back to 2015. Did you listen to Arkansas Bound and some of Sad Daddy, Carper
Yep.
Family?
Arkansas Bound. I've worn. I mean, I don't think you can wear Spotify out, but I've tried.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, Arkansas Bound, that's not overly produced at all. It's just like, and that's more my the old time side of my writing, which I have that element too, but I haven't been putting that out with uh my Melissa Carter album so much. In Sad Daddy in that band, we usually record my stuff that sounds more old time, and I've put out albums with Rebecca Paddock that have that as well. But yeah, I mean, I guess I mean if you're just going to the very root core of the sound, it's just all the influences that I've listened to, and I got yeah, it's which is all old music. So
And when did music come to you? Like, how old were you when you first remember singing, playing, and then when did you start writing music?
well, I was lucky to grow up with a family that listened to a lot of great old country music, and we had records playing all the time. And then my mom and dad wanted all their kids to play music, so they encouraged us to do that. And we had a family country band starting at age 12, and I was also playing in the school orchestra, uh, classical music, and So yeah, I've been playing music all my life. And I didn't start really writing songs. Maybe my early 20s, I wrote a few, and then gradually, I started writing more and more. And then by my mid 30s, I finally I was like, I think I'm a songwriter. I'm
That's good. Well, and I know you also, for the most part, play the wonderful double bass, the stand-up bass. I'm curious, when you write music, do you write it around bass parts, or do you build songs out with guitars or other approaches from the onset?
I usually write a song just in my head first, and so I hear it in my head, the melody, and I write all the lyrics, just hearing it in my head, and then I'll usually grab a guitar to find out the chords that go to the melody. And then, yeah, so not very often has bass influenced my songwriting process. A few times I've written songs on the banjo,
Oh, nice.
Nice.
and
That's
that
cool.
that definitely has been influential for a certain type of song,
Sure.
having a banjo. Mhm.
Very nice. Well, let's listen to some more of the magnificent Melissa Carper. How about we play one of those previously mentioned crooner tunes? Here's I Don't Love You Anymore. Stay tuned. This is Roots Music Rambler.
I don't love you anymore. That's what you said as I sat there on a bed. I don't feel the way I felt before. I don't love you anymore. Somewhere between Texas and Tennessee is where I always seem to be. Traveling these old roads from show to show, and it seems I miss you wherever I go.
Welcome back to Roots Music Rambler. That's Somewhere Between Texas and Tennessee from Melissa Carper's latest solo album, Born in Ya. Songs even got a little yodel in there. I just love the sound and the vibe. And Melissa Carper, her own self, joins us on Roots Music Rambler this week. Melissa, I know you're originally from Nebraska, I believe, and you talked a bit about your family and such in the last segment, but I know you moved around a lot as you grew up and your music career got rolling. I read somewhere you were once in Alaska working in a fish factory. You were in Eureka Springs, Arkansas for a bit, which seems to be a great kind of returning point in some of your music. Was this one of those journeys to find yourself or just following where the world took you? Why so many places along the way?
Yeah, good question. I, so Alaska actually was, after I dropped out of college in Lincoln, Nebraska, I was a music major, and I realized that I didn't want to pursue classical music, and I dropped out of college, and they were advertising for, you can work in a fish factory in Alaska and make all this money. And back then we weren't even emailing, so I ordered real mail, ordered like the brochure of what jobs I could apply to, and applied to several fish jobs, and a few wrote me back, and then I just headed on up there to Petersburg, Alaska, because they said they would hire me at that fish factory. And I think I just was ready for an adventure. I was ready to get out of Nebraska, and yeah, just really kind of following my heart, seeing where my life was leading me, and definitely Eureka Springs, Arkansas was a big part of that. And I moved there shortly after I came back from Alaska. Actually, I moved to Eureka Springs, Arkansas, and a good friend of mine from Nebraska took me down there because I didn't know of Eureka Springs. And I've lived, 50 to 15 to 20 years of my life. I'm not sure because I've moved away and come back so often in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, and I have a great community of friends there to this day. And then, but then, realizing like couldn't it's such a small town of 2,000. Like I had to explore other places, so New Orleans and Austin, Texas, New York City, just checking out the world, moving around.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Life of a rambling
Yeah,
gal,
exactly. I
which
A
think
is
if
cool.
rambler,
you have the
yes.
spirit of an adventure and you want to see what's out there, as a young person, that just was natural to me.
For sure. Well, you're definitely speaking my language. I have a similar story, but we'll talk about that another time. So you're in Nashville now. Well, I mean, not right this second, but you're based in Nashville now. Is that
I'm
correct?
actually not based in Nashville.
Oh,
I'm
you're not.
I was in from 2018 to 2020, but then I moved back to Texas, and so I'm south of Austin in Driftwood, Texas, is where I live now. But
Okay.
I go back to Nashville often, and I've recorded all my albums there. So that's maybe why you think that I'm living there, because I've been recording all my albums up there. Yeah,
Are- okay. So there's still kind of a comfort level there then in Music City.
definitely. I have a connection in Nashville, and I'm grateful that I lived there and met like all the musicians that are on those albums and the studio that I record at. I return there because I love the studio and the engineer. So yeah, Nashville's been a big part of everything.
That's
Very
great. One
nice.
one of the close proximity things I think about Nashville that has manifested itself for you is this super group, the Wonder Women of Country, which I had the pleasure of seeing Brennan Lee, Kelly Willis, and you at Bourbon and Beyond not long ago. Tell us about how that collaboration came about, because you three are pretty damn good singer songwriters, and to put the three of you together, and it's I mean, what's just awesome. So how'd that come about?
Well, actually, so I had moved back to Texas, and Kelly Willis lives in Texas, and Brennan's lived in Texas on and off. She's back here now, but she was in Nashville when we first started playing together. But I'd played with this is I'm going backwards now. I've played with Brennan ever since the first time I moved to Austin, which was like 2009. So I've played with Brennan a bunch, and we happened to be on a couple of the same bills that Kelly Willis was on, and she heard us play, and then she was wanting to do like she was interested in having a group with that was more acoustic, because she had been playing in more of a full band situation where there's drums and electric guitar and stuff. So she asked us if we would be interested in just having a trio and just getting together and playing a few shows together, and the shows went really well, so we just kept playing more shows, and then we recorded some songs together. So it's just kind of been an organic thing that happened with that group forming.
Nice.
Nice. And Kelly Willis, talk about a legend. I think I saw her for the first time probably 25 years ago. So that is quite the super group. And
Yeah.
then
Well, yeah.
speaking of collaborations, you've got a new single out called Dat Ain't Right. So Jason, maybe you need to
Yeah.
correct me on that pronunciation. I'm a
Yeah,
little
it's
too Yankee for that.
it's that ain't right.
Okay. All right, there we go. All right, so
It's
I knew it needed
it's
a
a
little
subtle
more.
difference, very subtle.
Yes. And
That ain't right.
that's way too much Southern for me to muster. I'm a Chicago girl. So that song is a duet with Theo Lawrence, and you've got another single with him too, All 50 States. So is a full album with the two of you in the works? And how did that collaboration come about?
We wrote a bunch of songs. Me and Theo Lawrence, we wrote a bunch of songs back in the beginning of 2024. And we thought, we would record those songs, and now they're finally starting to come out. So that's exciting. We actually went back to the Bomb Shelter, the place I recorded in Nashville, and we recorded them there. And yeah, they're starting to come out. That's exciting. And that was kind of my first stab at trying to write a duet song, intentionally writing duets.
Cool.
Okay.
And so that was a lot of fun. We both wrote together and trying to, have songs that go back and forth between two
nice.
voices. But That Ain't Right was actually written by me and my friend Gina Galena.
Oh, cool.
Yep. Yeah.
It's neat. It's neat to hear that out there. I've given that record a spin or two, or the tune a spin or two on my radio show,
cool.
which I really enjoy
Thank you.
playing. So good stuff. It's a
Thank
nice
you.
song. And the people where I'm from understand not what that means and how to say it. That ain't right.
Yeah, well, I did grow up in Nebraska, so if it wasn't for moving to Arkansas and further down south, I wouldn't have understood how to say it either.
That's a good point. Yeah, Nebraska's pretty even keel. There's not really an accent there. It's just kind of normal, but everywhere else is a
We
little screwed up.
pronounced our words very well.
Yes, you did. You enunciate and all that good stuff, which I'm from Eastern Kentucky, and man, and I've been in radio for 35 years. So I probably have a little bit of a twang, but if you were to talk to members of my family, it's like Boomhauer on King of the Hill. You just but that's the way it works. So the next logical question, I think for us here is what's next for Melissa Carper? Are we at a point where you're getting ready for a new record or just touring and firing off one-off projects for a bit? What can we expect as we turn the corner into 2026?
Well, I do have something exciting that's going to be announced very soon. In fact, by the time this program comes out, it'll be announced. I have a Christmas album coming out,
Cool.
2025. I wrote original Christmas songs with my friend Gina Galena, and also wrote a few by myself. Wrote one with Brendan Lee, and recorded a Christmas album January of 2025, and I'm excited. It's coming out this Christmas. So
I love it. And so I'll have Pretty Paper by Willie Nelson, and I'll have Christmas at Gillies, Mickey Gilly, and then I'll have Melissa Carper with whatever that I think's going to be titled.
Well, I hope you enjoy the Christmas album that's coming out. I feel like we wrote some pretty good new original Christmas songs. So I'm excited to see what the world thinks about that. And I'll be opening for J.D. McPherson on his Christmas tour in December. So I don't know if we're coming to a town near you. Where are you? Where you guys? Chicago?
I'm in Louisville, Kentucky. She's in Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay, so guess what? I think the first show is in Louisville, Kentucky, December 4th.
Oh, look at you.
I'm there.
Jason's doing a happy dance.
And then we're definitely playing Chicago a little further along on the tour. So
nice. I know JD plays here a lot. I've seen him a couple times up here.
Yeah, because he records there in Chicago. Yeah. A lot. Right. I think a lot of his band members live there.
December 4th, I promise you, unless I'm dead, I'll be there. Because if I'm not mistaken, December 2nd is Joy Oladecoon is making her Grand Ole Opry debut. And I got to be there for that because she's one of my favorites.
Oh, cool.
And December 6th, I've got something going on. I think there's a comedian in town. So December 4th, I should be there. So I'm just going to promise you now, I will see you there.
See you there. That's exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet.
And then I'll check out the dates and I'll do everything in my power to make it.
We've posted a lot of the dates already. And
cool.
And I think every date but one date has already been posted up on the internet. So I'm
nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I know Jason has truly enjoyed this. It has been so much fun to catch up with you. So you mentioned, being on the internet, the dates and stuff. So tell people where they can find your music and tour dates and all that on the interwebs.
Yeah. So melissacarper.com is my website, and all my show dates are listed there. If you want to follow me on Instagram, Melissa Carper Music, and I believe Melissa Carper Music is also my Facebook page. If anybody still does that.
Oh yeah, there are plenty of people that still do the Facebook.
Yeah.
We'll make sure there's links to all those in the show notes. Melissa, thank you so much for being with us and for creating such great music for us to listen to. Really appreciate you taking some time to placate some obnoxious guy with a silly business card at Bourbon and Beyond. I'm a big fan. I'm tickled you were here, so we would definitely appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Jason and Francesca. Thank you all for having me.
Thank you.
And I guess I'll see you in December.
Yes, you will.
All right.
Stay tuned for just a second.
Okay.
Let's go out with That Ain't Right, shall we? That's what I say
Yeah.
when people say they haven't listened to Melissa Carper. I say, that ain't right, yo. Picking the Grinnins coming up. Stay tuned. This is Roots Music Rambler.
Peaches to the left and peaches to the right.
My sweet girl's nowhere in sight.
Oh, that ain't right.
I know it ain't right.
No, that ain't right.
Oh, it sure ain't right.
You gotta find you a baby that treats you right. That ain't right. I seen your gal wearing short skirts.
Orange tan and she flirts and flirts.
Oh, that ain't right.
I know it ain't right.
No, that ain't right.
No, it sure ain't right.
You gotta find you a baby that treats you right. 'Cause that ain't right.
Okay. I'll calm down now.
Okay. All right.
She's not on the line anymore, so I can take a deep breath and not fanboy. I asked this question to you off the recording. I'm going to ask it for the record.
Oh, all right.
What is it with me and gay singers? I don't
Gay female singers.
gay female, yeah, lesbian or queer women artists. For some reason, I just fucking love them. I don't. Their music. It doesn't have anything to do with like them as
I understand.
that thing. It's the music. Joy Coon, love. Melissa
Right.
Carper, fucking love. Like, I'm sure I could go on, but damn, I don't know what it is. And I'm not ashamed of it, but I'm just like, what? I don't know. There's something weird that's happening there, I guess.
It's a curious connection,
It's different. Yeah.
but it's not like you said. I understand what you're saying, that it's not like a physical thing, right? You just
No.
really enjoy their music and their talent, and yeah, who cares if they're gay, straight, theys and thems, or
Yeah.
purple, black,
Well, and
orange, whatever.
I've said this before. Joy Coon and I, other than social issues, could not be demographically more opposite.
Right.
Like I'm a 53-year-old white, raised Christian male, straight from Appalachia. She's a black queer woman, daughter of Nigerian immigrants, grew up in Arizona. Like there's polar opposites in a lot of ways. I think socially and politically we align, but demographically, straight demographics, we are complete opposites. And yet I feel her music. Like when she writes a song, I'm like, I can identify with that.
Yep.
And that's the magic of her songwriting.
Yep.
And her worldview and experience, which I can relate to somehow. I don't know that I would say I relate to Melissa Carper's music from a worldview perspective, but I just love how it sounds.
Yeah. Well,
So-
and that's the beauty of music. And you're describing your connection with Joy Coon despite all those differences. And that's, as you were explaining that, it occurred to me that that's kind of how I feel about William Prince. And I know I've talked about him before on the show too,
Mhm.
but very demographically different. He's an Indigenous First Nations Canadian guy. And here I am, this white, city girl, American, but his music and the way he writes and everything, like I've said it before, like I feel it, right? So yeah, and that's why we love music, because
That's right.
it brings us all together. And that's part of the objective of the show too. This is where culture and music intersect. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you for the original idea for this thing.
no,
I'm glad,
you're
I'm-
welcome.
I'm glad we do this. And
Me
I'm
too.
I'm glad I had that idea
On the shitter.
on the shitter listening to Tyler Childers. Hey, I should be able to talk to somebody about this shit on the interwebs. Let's do a podcast. And here we are.
Voila.
Hey, it's time for the Pick of the Grinning segment.
Let's do it.
That's
Because
where
we're getting a little
we're getting
little-
silly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I haven't had anything alcoholic to drink tonight either. Because I didn't want to say something.
That's really
dumb.
off brand.
I know. I didn't want to say something dumb with Melissa on the line. So I was just like, I'll just not drink tonight. That'd be great.
That's cool.
Anyway, so the Pick of the Grinning segment, for those of you who don't know, that's where Frank and I pick who's making us grin. Might be a song, might be an artist, might be an album, might be a movie soundtrack, might be whatever. And it's our way of recommending new music or old music that we've resurfaced to you to listen to. And I think the last episode we recorded, I believe you went first. So I'm going to go first this time.
Okay. Sounds good.
And I'm going to pick another young lady who is a Kentucky artist who I saw at the Mountain Girl Experience in Pikeville, Kentucky, my hometown. As we're recording this, that happened last week. I had not heard of this young lady, I don't think, before this event, but in preparation for this event on Appalachian Echoes, my radio show, I played a cut from each of the artists on the show the weekend before to help promote the event and get people there. And so I discovered Jerry Catherine Howell, who is a wonderful singer-songwriter. And she's this interesting mix of, perfectly Americana describes her. She's right in the middle of folk and country and a little bit of pop. And she's just got this personality that just pops off the stage. And she's got this beautiful big smile. And she actually has a song called Woman, which I highly recommend to anyone, women especially. And while we were in Pikeville, she had her sister was in the crowd. And apparently part of Woman comes with a choreographed dance routine.
Oh,
And which I was like, okay, that sounds a little hokey. But then when they did it, I'm like, well, that's not really hokey at all. It's actually kind of cool. And they were filming it because they're doing a music video. And so I might be in the background of a music video. I did not get up and dance because you don't want to see that.
yeah.
The best way I can describe me dancing is, the scene from The Wizard of Oz when all the shit's just kind of blowing by in the tornado and someone's hanging on a tree and they're just flopping into it. That's me on a dance floor. So anyway, so they did, they did that. And anyway, Jerry Catherine Howe, go check her
Okay.
music out. I'll put the links obviously to our Picking the Grinning folks in the show notes. And I think she's fantastic. She's another one that I'm going to probably try to get on the show at some point. I'm going to try to see her live a couple more times because she's in Kentucky, so I have proximity to her. But
Sure.
I was delighted to watch her perform at the Mountain Girl Experience. Got a chance to say hello to her afterwards and introduce myself. And she wore these big old red cowboy boots and everything. She was just a delight. And so I would recommend Jerry Catherine Howe to you today.
Okay.
So
Well, thank
what you
you.
got, Frank?
All right. I have another one that kind of I discovered a while ago and hadn't really thought about until recently. So the first time I heard this artist, it's not the same as your story about being on the shitter, but I was in the shower and I was actually on a press trip when, my travel blogging days. And I was staying at Old Faithful Resort in Yellowstone.
Oh, wow.
So I was in the shower and I had Pandora playing on my phone. That's how long ago this was because I was using Pandora. And this song comes on and I hear this voice and I'm like, what? And I'm like, this is amazing. Who is this? And then I'm like, wait a second, is that Eddie Vedder? Like it sounded like Eddie Vedder. And I'm like, no, it's and then of course I'm in the shower, so the sound's a little distorted. Finally, I get out of the shower and I'm, didn't even reach for my towel. I reached for my phone to see what I'm listening to. And it's an artist or band. I'm not real sure if it's how he identifies, if it's an artist or a band. But anyway, the White Buffalo. And like that voice just haunts me. And from that point on, like I spent the rest of the evening like just binging everything that he recorded. So the White Buffalo is otherwise known as Jake Smith. He's was born in Oregon, raised in Southern California, and he's got this incredible baritone voice and of just really like deep lyrics, for lack of a better word, because I can't really think of one right now. I'm not very deep, but the song especially that really like haunted me was "Wish It Was True," and and I think I came across one of his songs not that long ago, probably on XM, and it made me think of him again, and pull up some of his old stuff to listen to.
Nice.
So the White Buffalo.
Okay. The White Buffalo. Well, we'll make sure there are links to that in the show notes, as well as Jerry Catherine Howe and all of the other Melissa Carper stuff and whatnot from this episode. So you can find those, by the way, if you're looking for the show notes at rootsmusicrambler.com, or certainly in the description of our YouTube videos. We're full on YouTube now with full videos and all that good stuff. And if you're ever wanting to just jump over and listen to a specific episode of the program, we have our own custom short URL, which makes that easy. And we have a pattern, which makes it easy too. So if you type in rootsmusic.link and then / and the name of the artist. So for this episode, it'll be rootsmusic.link/Melissa Carper, all one word. That'll take you to this episode on our website. And that works for all of the other episodes that we have. And if it's a band like The Last Rebel, which we had on a few episodes back, it would be rootsmusic.link/The Last Rebel. And so that's an easy way to get to the episode if you just want to come to the website where we have our YouTube videos embedded. And of course, we also have the audio player if you like to listen to it that way. Please do share and recommend the show to your friends. We're on YouTube with full video. We're also on Spotify with video and audio. And we're on all the other places where you get your podcast as an audio service as well. We would certainly love to see more folks on that YouTube channel and more subscribers all over the place, because the more you subscribe and the more you recommend us to your friends and they subscribe, the bigger we are, which means the bigger the artist we can persuade sucker into coming on the show with us, which we're doing pretty good in that regard. But one of these days, Frank and I are going to retire the day that we interview Tyler Childers.
Oh my God. Retire. I'm going to fucking die.
When we have him on the show and we say goodbye at the end, we're done. We're just going to pack it up and say, we cannot get better than that. He's the reason we started the show. We're done. But we got to have a lot more people subscribe and listen to get to that point. So if you want to stop listening to us, then you got to start listening to us and make all your friends listen to us too.
Yeah.
And so we get so goddamn big that we have to quit. How about that? Man, I need a nap.
Yeah, you do.
All right.
And maybe like a cold shower. I don't know.
Probably. Roots Music Rambler is a production of Falls and Partners, copyright 2025. Our music, our theme, something like that. The sounds that you hear as I'm talking here is a song called Sheepskin and Beeswax by Gentacorum. Join us online at rootsmusicrambler.com and make sure you mash that subscribe or follow button hard so you remember to join us for the next hoedown and throwdown. Jeez, Frank.
And he's Falls.
And whatever you do, kids, ramble on.